Hello and welcome back to another Q&A video. This week I wanted to answer the question of what it really takes to improve your physical fitness. Now, you need three things essentially, and I'll break them down a little bit further, but the main three things that you need are: one, a good resistance training program; two, you need protein; and three, you need a lot of time and repetition. So breaking those three things down, you need a good strength training or resistance training program that you're going to use to provide some level of what is called progressive overload onto the muscle and the body itself, which then your body needs to basically adapt and recover from. You add an excess or an addition of protein on top of that, whether it be through protein powder or just regular food. Ideally from food first, and then supplement as you need to then help repair those tissues and to add some level of recovery to the strain that you have now put on the body. And three, you need to repeat that over and over and over again for a long period of time. And that is where you're going to get the bulk of what we call fitness or strength or whatever performance aspect you're looking for when it comes to physical fitness, if you will. So as you continue to do those three things, consistency obviously matters, but at the base of it all, you need resistance on the system being your body. You need protein and other nutrients to support that new growth, and you need a lot of time over the course of time, essentially, to be able to repeat that stimulus over and over and over again. So that's really the nuts and bolts of what you're trying to do when you're straining your body in the gym or trying to get stronger or just trying to get healthier. But having a physical component to that goal, you just need those three things to really get into it. Now, sure, it could be argued that there's a lot more to it. However, those are all sub-layers from each of those categories. Yes, recovery in sleep and other nutrition stuff, stress management, all apply. But when you're asking the question of how do I get stronger or how do I improve my physical fitness, those are the three main things that you need. Everything else really gets more niche and more complicated than sometimes it needs to be, because everybody has a different body or a different starting point than everybody else. So it just does take a little bit longer, and you can get into those more nuanced things, but I like to simplify and I like to bring it back to what actually works and then build out from there as needed. Another question that's linked to this is, can I build muscle and lose fat at the same time? The answer is usually it depends, but yes, you absolutely can. A lot of it depends on where you're starting from and what your goal is and where that will take you. But as you can imagine, having somebody who is relatively overweight and wanting to improve their life physically, absolutely, you're going to see this recomposition happen as their body will transform the excess stored energy into support for building that muscle. So yes, they're going to lose fat, and yes, they're going to build muscle at the same time. You don't have to do a traditional cutting and bulking phase to get those results. Now, for somebody who's at the upper peak of their physical capacity or what they're able to actually achieve, it's much harder because they have this much room for error, whereas the other person has a much bigger room for error. So the answer is yes, you can do both at the same time, but it very much depends on the individual who's trying to administer it. And then, are you implementing the correct strategies to make both of those things happen? Are you addressing your nutrition? Are you addressing your sleep and recovery, I will add? Are you addressing your strength training and what those reps and sets look like? Is it conducive to the goal that you're trying to achieve? Now, if everything looks pretty close to the right thing, then have at her. Implement consistency over a long period of time, and you will get that goal that you're after, which is trying to do both at the same time. So again, I'll reiterate, you don't have to do a traditional or a typical cutting and bulking phase unless your goal depends on it. It's popular in a lot of combat sports or where weight classes are involved, but for the regular folk like you and me, it really doesn't have a huge place unless you're really trying to strive for a specific body composition, body fat percentage, or scale weight, or whatever. For most of us, it does not matter. So don't get caught in the trap of needing to cut or bulk. Just carry on with consistent improvement in all of those other areas that I mentioned. I hope this video was helpful in some way. If you found it helpful, give it a like, and I will see you in the next Q&A video. Have a good one.